So I'm going to just begin with our key message that we've found so far with the processor trial. And that is that there are real opportunities to embed more R&D with processors and for them to extend to their producers, but it must have a commercial context. So just to give you a bit of an introduction, we're working with the processors on this trial, and it's really focusing on how R&D can be extended to the processors. The two processors that we're working with is Warrnambool Cheese and Butter, based down in southwest Victoria, and also JBS, who is a meat processor based across, we're working with JBS Southern, who's based across southeast Australia. So both of those processors work within a supply chain context, so their objective is really about producing a quality product to meet their customers' demand. And both of those processors also have teams that work directly with farmers to produce a quality product within their farm assurance program. So for the case of Warrnambool Cheese and Butter, they have a team of factory field officers who work directly with their dairy farmers, and with JBS, they have a team of livestock buyers who work with both their producers and also livestock agents. And we've also got up there the fabulous team that I'm working with, so I'll let you just peruse that and we'll keep going. I just wanted to touch briefly on our approach that we've taken so far, and we're intending to take with the project. We're considering the project in two phases, which lines very much up with what Jana presented before. And our first phase is the engagement phase, and we're still currently in that stage. It's quite an important process for us to take our time and make sure we get it right. And in this phase, we're working with both the processors to make sure that the objectives of what the trial is trying to achieve lines up with objectives that they would like to achieve within their business. We've taken a couple of steps in this actual phase. Because we're working with those teams that are on the ground, we really need to understand what their current situation is. So what's their skill base at the moment? Where's it at? And where might it be able to go to? The next step is describing that ideal world. And when we're talking about that, we're talking about talking to the processor and their management, in the management. What are their expectations about how their field services team might work? And also going out and talking to the processor, to the farmer, and asking them about their expectations about how their field services team might work, where there might be opportunities to improve. We'll then bring together all our findings and start trying to line up what we're hearing between the processor, the teams on the ground working with the producers and the producers. And along with the processors, we'll start identifying activities that we can deliver. The second phase, which we'll move into, is the delivery of those activities. And those activities really will be aimed at improving how R&D can be delivered through their teams that they have on the ground. We'll also be doing evaluation the whole way through both of those stages. Our intention and hope is that the outcome of the trial will be an approach that the RDCs will be able to implement with other processors so that they can improve the delivery of R&D through the processor sector. So I'd like to just give you 3 observations that we've made to date. And so before I go into those, I just want to acknowledge that this process of processors embedding R&D into what they do has been happening well and truly before our projects come along. And so what I'm just going to point out here are things that we've observed in our trial but have also been happening along the way. The first point is that processors are interested in extending R&D if it supports their commercial outcomes. And this is really about better securing supply for the processor. That's their drive there. And for this trial, what we've found that we've had to do is really make sure that the trial is going to offer something that's going to provide benefit to the way that they do the work that they do at the moment. The second point is processors participate in the development phase of R&D. And this happens at different levels within the processing business. It doesn't always, the extension of R&D and the development of R&D doesn't always happen with just those people who are interacting with farmers on the ground. An example of this is within JBS, their supply manager has worked directly with industry research bodies to develop their system for feedback on meat carcasses. So there's always that level of involvement happening at different stages throughout the processing business. The third point is processors see a competitive advantage in how they do extension, and this is really about them building relationships with their suppliers. So that is why we're focusing on the task that we're doing at the moment with the processors, and that's really looking at reviewing how their field services teams and their livestock buyers are currently working with farmers. And in doing that, if we're having a look at how these teams are currently operating, the processors acknowledge that they're not trying to upskill their staff in a way that they will overtake or take on farm consultant roles, but rather be able to find opportunities to improve the services that they offer. So make sure that they're building better relationships, having better conversations with farmers, and then being able to direct them in areas that those farmers might need to move to. So the trial's showing that both milk and meat processors use R&D in their businesses, but only in a way that strongly aligns with their commercial objectives. Hence my original point. Thank you.